All right, good morning, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So today we're gonna be talking about a couple different things. We're gonna be going over a conversation I had with one of our agents on the mentorship program about a lead that she got that's looking for a rental. And we are going to go over exactly kind of step by step on the conversation and how to drive that conversation to dig deeper and find out if that person really is a renter or if you can turn them into a buyer right off the bat. So the great thing about working with renters is, you can really get to learn to know them. They get comfortable with you and you show them houses and stuff like that. You build that rapport through the rental. And if they really are dead set or not able to purchase that first year that they're looking to rent, you can then follow up with them for the next year and you know exactly the timing when their lease is going to be up. And you can convert them into a buyer the following year. So if you guys have one of your pillars be work with renters, great. You can have a wealth of business. I know when I first moved to Vegas, there was this guy, and I still remember his name. His name was Devin Pendergrass or something. And he showed me rental houses, and I didn't know that agents actually showed you rentals. So, and he followed up with me for the next few years and to see if I wanted to buy. But it is a great pillar to have in your arsenal, following up with those renters, because you know their timing. You know when their lease is going to end. You know exactly when to start really digging in and being like, hey, if you are thinking about purchasing now, let's get you ready at that 6-month mark. Where are you at with your savings? Where are you at with your down payment? Let's get that conversation started with a lender so that we can actually make your dreams come true and help you purchase when your lease is up. So perfect way to have a pillar. But this particular conversation I had with an agent, and she got a renter. So I'm just gonna read you the conversation. She said, hey, Lauren, I have a lead looking for a rental, 2 bedrooms, $2,000 to $2,500 price range. He has an emotional support dog looking for Henderson off of St. Rose. I don't have the MLS yet, but is there a way we can look up some places for him? I said, that's great. Why is he not purchasing? With that price point, he can buy. Guys, when you get somebody who's looking in the $2,000 to $2,500 price range and they only need a 2-bedroom, that's definitely somebody that is a candidate to purchase. Okay, that's a pretty high price point for just a 2-bedroom. I'm assuming it's just going to be them. So I said, why is he not purchasing? She said, I don't know. I didn't ask. I commented on another post about somebody looking for a rental and he messaged me about getting some help. That's awesome. That's an inbound prospect. That's somebody who reached out to her. So that's even better. I said, call him and learn about his situation. Why is he renting instead of buying, and etc. She said, Randy mentioned that any rental we do turns into a sale for us. And that is because of what I just went over. And I'm really just trying to get something under my belt. I don't want to push him to buy and he not want my help anymore. It's just a casual conversation. All I have is his email. I told him he could search for some places that he'd be interested in. So this agent feels like if she starts asking questions about purchasing or pushing him to purchase, that she will lose the lead. That is false. That is what we call a limiting belief. Okay, so we do not want to think that way. This is a very normal conversation for any agent to have with somebody who's looking to rent, because it is in everybody's best interest to purchase. $22,000 a month for a whole year is $24,000. And then what would it be? $30,000 if they went to $2,500. So that's a down payment and then some, right? So if we can frame it like that to the people looking to rent, what is that going to do? That's going to get their gears spinning. So what I said is, yes, of course, but if we turn them into a sale right away, we can get you the money to pay for the MLS and you can start even sooner. Otherwise, he rents and then you have to wait a year for this person to buy. And this is a lead that just came to her and kind of fell in her lap. I said, this is a very normal conversation to have with each renter. So you should get used to doing this. They usually say they want to buy in a year, but you got to dig and you got to find out exactly why they think renting is better for them than purchasing. So our job as an agent is to help people purchase a property and actually start building wealth. And you can't do that if you're just a renter forever. And she said, but if I push him to buy and he isn't interested in my help anymore, I'm losing a lead. Guys, a rental lead is $150 to $300. And it's about the same work as a buyer. So it's in, if you can get them to purchase and help them realize that it is better for them. Now, there will be some situations, maybe about 10, 20% of the time where it might not be good for them to purchase right away. But those situations are few and far between. It's a lot of times people don't realize that they can purchase. And my favorite thing is first-time home buyers, because helping them realize that it is possible for them to purchase, that they do have enough money. A lot, like, what if this person thought, oh, I need 20% down to purchase a property and I don't have that? You can abolish that belief because you really only need 3% down, 3.5% for FHA, 3% for conventional. What if they didn't know that? Her job as an agent is to help them realize that. And if they still say, no, I need to rent because of X, Y, and Z, I don't know the areas, this, that, and the other, whatever their limiting beliefs are, we need to help them realize all of their options. And if they think that their only option is to rent and you didn't help them realize that they could actually purchase, then they're going to be putting that down payment that they could have had for their home towards renting instead of actually purchasing. So I said, when she said, if I push him to buy and he isn't interested in my help anymore, I'm losing a lead. I said, ask him about his credit, ask him about his income, ask him about his job, how long he's been in Vegas. Then explain to him that minimum credit scores is 640 for renters, that you must make 3 to 3.5 times the rent per month. And those questions, when you start asking them, naturally lead to, so when are you planning on purchasing? Because it is easier to get qualified for a mortgage than it is for renting, which is true. You only need what, a 46% debt to income ratio, which is about half, 2 times what you need to make for a mortgage versus rent. So, when you help people realize these things, they are more inclined to purchase. She said, and I said, so those things naturally lead to, when are you purchasing? Because it's easier to get qualified for a mortgage than renting. So, and then she said, so I talked to him, he's a truck driver. He wants to wait 1 more year before buying. He has been here 4 years and has a 702 credit score. I said, awesome. Why does he want to wait a year? He said, not sure. She said, not sure. Just said he's only been a truck driving a year. I'm waiting on his reply. And then she comes back to me 28 minutes later and says, oh my God, he has a loan. He has a VA loan and he's open to buying. I said, awesome, let's schedule a meeting with him. We'll go over all of his options, renting and buying, and we'll see what works best for him. So our job isn't to be pushy salespeople. Our job is to lay out all of the options on the table for these people and help them make the best decision for them. Okay, and I tell people, if we're sitting down across from each other with a buyer and I'm like, well, yeah, actually it doesn't make sense for you to buy now. I will tell people that, or it doesn't make sense for you to sell now. I did that a lot last year when we would go and somebody was looking at selling in Q4 of last year and interest rates were 8.5%, 9%. They have a mortgage that's $1,350 and they want to buy another property. We go get pre-approved and they can only buy a property that's like $200,000. It doesn't make sense for that person to sell. And you know what? You will be one of the only agents that actually will be honest with those people. You're not just looking to get a sale, you're looking to help people. And guess what? Those people all come back to me the next year and they're like, you are the only agent that's honest with me and told me that it's not right for me to sell then. I want to work with you now. So you build relationships with people like that. And ultimately what ended up happening with this person is we set an appointment and we're going to go meet with them later this week or next week and we're gonna lay out all the options and help that person maybe purchase. We'll see what their situation is. So does anybody have any questions on that and how to turn renters into buyers? Do you have any stories? Have you worked with any renters? Let's hear from you. Anybody? No one? All right, so we're gonna move on now. I am going to go over kind of what it takes to get one listing per week. All right. So there's real estate and sales is just math. Okay. So your job as an agent is lead conversion. What would happen in your business if you got one lead per day? Okay. If you can't convert, and so that would be what? That would be 30 leads per month. So if you can't convert at least 2 people from getting 30 leads per month, then you and I need to have a conversation about what's happening on the phones and what this conversation is actually going. So if this is happening to you and you're having tons of conversations and getting tons of leads, but not being able to convert them, come to me, let me know. That's what I'm here for. It's what I'm good at. So come to me and we'll have a conversation about that. So there, I have you guys be accountable and track your numbers for many, many reasons. One of them is mindset. And it's probably the most important thing ever. Just from this conversation and this example earlier with this person who had a renter, what was her mindset? Her mindset was, I'm going to lose this lead if I ask them to purchase or if I push them to purchase. Okay, but my mindset was, you're not pushing them, you're helping them. You're helping them realize all of their options and what they can make happen for themselves. Okay, so my mindset said we can turn it into a buyer. We can help them realize that buying may be best for them. Her mindset was, I'm going to lose this person if I ask anything about purchasing. Okay, so mindset, if you know your numbers, you can see your progress. You know you're only X amount of conversations away from actually getting a deal. Okay, it's like gamblers when they're on the slot machines. Their mindset is, I'm going to hit that jackpot any second. I'm going to keep spinning. Now, if you're not a gambler and you've lost a lot of money, then you know, okay, no, I'm not going to win, blah, blah, blah. So that's your mindset, and then you don't gamble. See the 2 different mindsets, how your mindset just drives your actions. So you have to be aware of what's going on up here in order to win in sales and in order to win in real estate. All right, and accountability. Number 2 is accountability. This is the reason why we track our numbers. This can be a very lonely career, and you are your own boss. Now, if you're not accountable to yourself, be accountable to me. And I ask that you be accountable to me if you are on this program, okay? If you find other distractions to fill your time, or if you don't time block, you will see it and feel that pain inside of your business with the leads that you are either not following up with or not just doing the work. You guys just do the work, and I promise you your bank account will reflect that you are working hard. Do the work and you'll get the results. And also, when you track your numbers, it becomes a game. You gamify everything. And who likes playing games? I like playing games. Games are fun. Games are ways to learn. Games are ways to grow. Games are ways to measure your progress. So gamifying your work is a proven concept to help you keep going. All right, so let's dive into the numbers. How are we going to get 1 listing per week for the rest of the year? We got to build our pipeline. All right. If we want to get 1 listing per week, we got to work the numbers in reverse. So let's look at the numbers a little bit conservatively at first. Let's say you close 50% of the listing appointments you go on. So 1/2. So you close 1 out of every 2 listing appointments that you go on. And that's pretty reasonable for a new agent. Especially if you bring me with you, I'm sure we can close at least 50%. So this means if you go on 2 listing appointments per week, you'll get 1 listing on average. These are very low numbers, and I think you guys can beat this. So in order to get 2 listing appointments per week, what do we need to do? In order to go on 2 listing appointments per week, we need to set appointments. In my experience, about 75% of the appointments you set equal to an actual appointment happening. People will reschedule, people will no-show, people will, things happen. People don't take you seriously over the phones until you actually get to that face-to-face conversation. And this is where our follow-up comes in. So in order to go on 4 listing appointments per week, so we get 75% of our appointments set to appointments met. In other words, we need to set 4 listing appointments per week in order for at least 2 of those or 3 of those to come to fruition. So if we're going to go on these appointments, what do we need to do? We need to generate some leads. And the best way to do this, I keep drilling this home with you guys, the best way to do this is to direct outbound prospecting. What are some examples of direct outbound prospecting? Does anybody know? Cold calling. It is the best way to get leads and the most efficient way to use your time. You can sit at open houses, you can advertise for open houses. Those are also very, very awesome ways, but there is no other way to talk to the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time than there is to actually do this outbound prospecting, direct outbound prospecting. So get those leads from title. All right, here, let's see. Ashley's asking, how do we get the list? I'm just about to go over that. You can ask the title company that I've built a relationship with, which is Ticor Title, or whoever you have built your relationship with, wherever you are. I know I have some agents in California now that I'm coaching. I've connected you guys with title companies, great title companies over there that will do anything for you through my relationships that I built out here. So get with them. These lists, the best way to do it is to get targeted lists. How do you target your lists? You can go to a just sold, just listed, just whatever, circle prospecting. And you can say, okay, this one was just sold and it's sold. Find a home on the MLS that went for over asking price. Usually these are the homes right now that have had multiple offers. They are beautiful homes because there's not that many beautiful homes on the market right now. There's a lot of crappy homes on the market right now. And you can ask the title company, say, here's an address. I want every homeowner in a circle in a 1 mile radius that has 50% equity or more. This is how we're targeting the list that we're calling. They've lived in the house for 7 years or more. How else can we filter this? I just like to do those 2 things. And then around a home that is just sold, just listed, just went under contract, whatever you guys would like to do. And this is great to tie in with your open houses. So if you have an open house, you say, hey, this was just listed. I'm going to be doing an open house over there. And you just call these people, and the purpose of your call is to invite them to your open house. You meet them at the open house, build that relationship. And you also get to ask them, hey, have you had any thoughts of selling? Have you had any thoughts of moving up? And if they say no, say, oh, okay, is this your dream home? Is this your forever home? Most people are going to say no. So then you can put them in the bucket for follow-up for the next 2 years. I posted a video in our chat the other day, and I was like, you guys need to watch this. This guy's mindset is amazing. I'm just going to tag it right now and for you guys to see. I'm going to say, watch this video again. This kid's mindset about calling is amazing. And I want you guys to all mimic this guy and actually implement these thoughts in your mind. And you will see such a pattern of growth in your future in this year if you follow exactly what he's doing. He's like, if I talk to somebody and somebody says, I'm going to sell in 2 years, you bet that guy is going to be the one calling him once every quarter for the next 2 years until that guy's ready to sell. And that's his mindset. And he's like, I am going to be the only agent that follows up with him. You guys, there's not many agents that call these days. So you will be one of the only ones. And that means there's so much opportunity in this market in the way of direct outbound prospecting. All right, so if we're going to set some appointments where you need to generate some leads, the best way to do this is through outbound prospecting. Why? Because to get high quality listing appointments, they come from follow-up, not the initial conversation. I'm going to say that again. High quality listing appointments do not come from the first conversation. They come from the follow-up. And this is where our systems that we've implemented really come in handy. Put these people in your KV core, follow up with them, be the only agent that's going to do the work. You don't need the skills. You don't need all of these things that the limiting beliefs have told you you need. You just need to do the work. You just need to follow up. Okay. On average, you can expect about 25% of your leads to turn into an appointment set. Okay. So out of every 100 leads you get, you can count on 25% of those to turn into an appointment sometime in the next 12 months. Okay, so this means on average, you need to generate about 12 leads per week, right? So if we if we want four appointments per week, we need to generate about 12 leads per week to put in your system. And you also need patience and follow-up, like I just said. So 12 leads per week to put in your follow-up system, and you have to allow about 6 to 8 weeks to build your pipeline so that pipeline starts to mature and turn over into appointments. So remember when I talk about sales slumps in your book, all right, and you wonder why you have no business today. What were you doing 90 days ago? What was 90 days ago? January? Were you calling? Were you starting to build relationships with people? Were you calling your past clients and saying, hey, what are your real estate plans for this year? Are you planning on doing any renovations? Are you planning on adding to your portfolio? Do you want to move up? Is this your forever home? Have you heard any rumors about your friends or family buying? What were you doing 90 days ago? Because that's going to tell you what your business is today. All right. So you need to give time to your pipeline to mature. That's why people who don't stay on the mentorship program or actually implement it for at least a year, they don't see as good of results. You guys got to do the work. You got to follow the binder. You got to treat this like it is your career. Okay. And I promise you that you will not even recognize your business in a year or 2 years if you do the work and you do these things. I'm guiding you on exactly step by step what you need to do in order to win. All right. So in order to generate those leads, we must talk to some human beings. Imagine that. This is the reality. You just got to do the work. We're in sales. Our job is to have those voice-to-voice conversations with people. Our job is to get face-to-face with people and help them build wealth. Okay. This is the mindset that you need to be in. All right. So for every 100 conversations you have with prospects, about 10% of those should turn into an actual lead. What counts as a conversation? A conversation is when you've had a voice-to-voice contact with somebody and with the right homeowner. So if you're calling and you say, oh, this is the wrong number. So if you're calling and from a list you got from title, and you're calling, okay, you're like 124 Main Street. The owner of this should be John Doe. When you call and you actually speak to John Doe, whether he says, I'm not ever selling, this is my forever home or not, that counts as a conversation. All right. So like I said, 10% of all conversations should turn into an actual lead. So that counts as a conversation, and it counts as, okay, that's not a lead. So if you get a wrong number, this isn't John Doe who lives at 124 Main Street, that doesn't count as a conversation. All right. And you hang up the phone and you call again. If you're a gambler, you just press that button again, right? Maybe next time, maybe next time, maybe next time. How long will this take? That is a question that I always get. So with direct outbound prospecting, you can expect about 7 conversations or contacts per hour. This is with a dialer or without a dialer. You can expect about 7 conversations with the correct person who owns that home that you were calling about. Whether they say, no, I'm never selling, no, I already have an agent, or whatever. 7 real conversations about real estate per hour. So if you're focused and you're properly time blocked, which means that you have this time, say 8 to 10 every morning, where you actually make those phone calls and you set that time out for yourself. You put your phone on do not disturb. I'm not going to look at my email. This is my prospecting time. You guys have to be this disciplined. You know, and sometimes it doesn't mean showing up every day is 100%. Okay. So sometimes the most I have to give in a day is 75%. That's just that's just life. Even if you had a 9 to 5, you don't show up 100% every single day, but you do give your all every day. Maybe your 100% today is going to be, you know, at 75%, and that's okay. Okay, we're all human. But you do have to make that promise to yourself that you're going to make it for yourself, and you're going to do this for yourself. You guys, nobody's going to come make you do anything. I can't make you do the work. I can show you how to fish, and I can't, you know, I can't make you fish every day. I can't make you a meal every day. You eat what you kill in this business. That's just how sales works. All right. So if you're having 7 conversations per hour, that means every week you need a minimum of 17 hours per week prospecting. Who wants to work only 17 hours per week? I do. That's awesome. That's only 3.5 hours per day. 24 conversations per day. That will lead you to 2 solid leads per day. That's 60 leads a month. All right. So with 60 leads, and you know, you can actually 60 leads per month. Let's do the math. 60 leads per month times 12. That's 720 leads per year. What did we say? We can 10%. All right, let's see. 25% of your leads turn into an appointment set. 25%. So 60 times 12 equals 720 times 25%. 180. That's 180 appointments per year. And if we get 50% of those, is 90. That's 90. That's 90. 90 listings per year, and about maybe 70% of those will actually end up selling. 90 times 70%, 63. And if we can say an average commission is 7,500, that's 472,000 a year. All right. By my 3rd year in real estate, I hit 300,000 a year, and I never thought that that was possible. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. But I did the work. I was in it every single day. If I wasn't working in my business, I was working on my business. And if I wasn't working in my business or on my business, I was learning about how to do it. All right. So I want you guys to immerse yourself in real estate, and really just surround yourself with maybe other agents, surround yourself with the right people, or just be in it. Just go have those conversations with people who like, know, and trust you, people who can help you, people who want to see you do better. Reach out to your friends and family and say, hey, how can I help you in your small business? How can I help you in life? And they will return the favor and you know, give you leads, and realize that, you know, building that SOI is something that is super profitable for you. If you don't want to be cold calling or anything, you've got to figure out other ways to have multiple conversations about real estate per day. I can tell you some, like every conversation I have with everybody, I find a way to make real estate into that conversation. So for example, Easter, I went to a party where I knew nobody, and I was so excited about it because I was like, this could go multiple ways. Like, I could talk about real estate, I could get into a whole new circle of friends, whatever. First person I talked to, he ran a company that does, what is it? He like teaches people how to shoot guns. I was like, oh, cool. How did you get into that? Just trying to find out about him and start the conversation, right? And then he went into his background about how he, you know, is a veteran and was in the military, and then told me the story about how he built his company up. And I was like, oh, cool. Guess how I fit real estate into that conversation? I was like, about 60% of my buyers are VA. I didn't even tell him I was in real estate yet. I was like, oh my God, I work with veterans all of the time. That is how I just slipped in there casually that, hey, I'm an agent. And he, in turn, he started saying like, oh my God, well, I also used to be in the fire department and I can help you get into the fire department. So what's going to come of this? And he reached out to me on Instagram later that day after I left the Easter party. And he was like, hey, by the way, let's get together and see how I can actually help you get into the fire department and blah, blah, blah. And I would love to teach you, more about shooting and blah, blah, blah. So that turned into a real estate conversation. I ended up since Sunday, I've had 57 conversations about real estate, and about half of those happened at that Easter event. So I can turn anything into a real estate networking, and I implore you guys to do the same. Okay, it's super fun for me, just kind of navigating these conversations and seeing how I can use my NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and my sales skills to not be that slimy, pushy salesperson, because that connotation that we have around the word salesperson, especially when people hear the word realtor, it just comes out. But when you have a wealth of leads, when you have a pipeline that is maturing on a constant basis, you don't get as desperate. You don't have that commission breath when you're talking to people. You come off as a knowledgeable professional that is just there to help educate people. And this is where I want you guys to be at in the future. And I really I get so much joy out of helping you guys get there. So with that said, I went over everything pretty quickly today. Let's open up, everybody. Unmute yourselves. If you have anything, any stories, any conversations you guys want to have about anything on your mind right now. You guys have to have at least one question, somebody. Otherwise, I'm going to call on you guys and ask what you did for real estate this past week. Tracy, let's hear from you. You did just get your license, right? Or in the chat if you can't talk. All right, what about Ashley? What did you do this week? Ashley, you guys, if you don't follow Ashley on Instagram, you got to follow Ashley on Instagram. She is constantly posting. All of these things are amazing. Knowledge bombs for her audience. And I can see her doing so many good things in the future. And I actually stole her from another brokerage. So I'm super happy to have her here. Ashley, what did you do?
Well, thank you, Lauren. I just knew you were going to pick on me.
I gotta show you off.
I just knew it was coming. It's like in school when they go around.
Yeah.
Similar to you, Lauren, over the past week, I would say that I'm just trying to right now build my pipeline back up, coming from another brokerage where they kept most of my leads. So now I'm trying to build up my pipeline. I'm reaching out to, like you said, my sphere, asking people, trying to like interject with those little like tidbits and knowledge. Like Lauren also said, I'm trying, one of my pillars and one of my focuses is trying to build also an online presence. That way my clients can like refer to that. And I guess a funny story I can share with the group is I had a client who actually fits into this whole lesson today because he was my renter client. And he just kind of, when I transferred brokers, I reached out, letting him know, of course, I'm transferring. He let me know that not only was he taking my credit tips, he has amazing credit now. Like he was able to go from like a 500 to like a 750.
Wow.
He saved up all this money. Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess that's where you've been all this time that I haven't talked to you. You've been doing the work. Mm-hmm. So he says that he'll be ready to buy soon. And he actually follows me now on my social media. And he's like, I'm going to reach out to my daughter and, building that rapport, building that relationship with him. So it was kind of cool to see it like almost happen in real time. I'm like, wow, my tips really do work.
Yes, and this is what I really like to drive home with you guys, and you're hitting the nail on the head. So real estate or Instagram and social media is such a great supplementation to being in real estate. Now, it if you're on YouTube and you've really built up that following and everything, maybe it's turned into your main lead source and main lead generation tactic or pillar, but it really is that supplementation, you guys. And just like she said, she had somebody that she's been talking to in real estate. They connected on Instagram. And even though all of this time has passed, he has been basically getting a business card from her every single day, along with a little piece of knowledge that he can learn from. Okay, so not only does he see that she's a professional who is working every day in this business, which is not common. There's tons of part-time realtors. Okay, but he's learning, and then he's able to go back to her very easily with anything that is of interest to him, or any knowledge that she's putting out there, and be like, real quick, a question about something she's posted on her story. It actually comes full circle and keeps that lead in her pipeline even more than her just following up once a month or once every quarter with that person who's going to buy way down the road. So it keeps that lead in your pipeline and in your circle, and shows them exactly what you are doing to stay in this business, and that you're somebody that he can go to for questions. So that's awesome. Great job, Ashley. Great job. Awesome. All right, Colette, let's hear from you. Colette had a fun lead she was talking to me about yesterday, so I'd like to see if she's willing to share.
Yes, of course, I'll share. I got this contact on Friday from a person that said they discovered me on a real estate site. So I was excited, of course, and so I responded. And he asked how could I assist with purchasing a home in Vegas, and I was like, absolutely. So then he asked what areas I covered. So I mentioned all of the areas of Vegas, including, the suburban areas and names of the places here. And then he responded by saying he was looking for someone to assist him with a purchase. So, of course, I was excited about that and asked him something about his criteria. And he mentioned he was looking for a home with 5 or 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet, between 3 to 4 million. And of course, I was like, oh gosh, this has to be a fish, right? Or nobody. So then he continued to chat with me back and forth and said that he needed me to relate to him on WhatsApp. So then that's when I put the question on our chat, on our general chat. I asked if he had anybody ever worked with somebody, and then I think Shin gave me some great advice. And so I was thinking, well, not everybody could be a scammer. This could be a real person. So I was like, where do you live? He said he was in Irvine, California. And so then I think I reached out to you, Lauren, because I started to get a little nervous. And so I asked you about it, and he was supposed to call last night for us to talk about the house, because he would get off the subject, but I would have to guide him back to, real estate. And so he said he would be ready to talk about the house. I sent him some properties that were within the $3 to $4 million range. And he mentioned he wanted to be closer to the Strip. He was asking me how far were they from the Strip. So I was able to share with him that and tell him about Southern Highlands and other areas that were south of the Strip that would be easily accessible for him. And long story short, he was supposed to call me back last night. He ended up saying he had some work disruption and he would call me later, and later became never. So that's it so far.
Well, it happens. I mean, people will call you back or they won't. It may be a scam, it may not be, but he did send you a proof of funds, and we talked about what a proof of funds at that level looks like. So what I do suggest in this situation is for you to get on a Zoom with him. So if we can get him on a Zoom and see him face to face, I think that will constitute that, okay, this is a legit lead. Let's actually put some time into it. And if he can't do that, then I would say, all right, let's kind of put the brakes on this and maybe start thinking that it's not a real serious buyer is what we don't have on our hands. So we will see how that matures. If he starts talking about Bitcoin, it's probably is a scam. But other than that, great job. Just go back and forth. This happens. Did I ever tell you guys about the time when I listed a property that was a scam? And all right, so I was on this website called My Agent Finder, and I got a lead that had a piece of land in, where was it, Boulder. I went back and forth with them. I actually talked to them on the phone. The name that they gave me matched the name on the county assessor records, everything. I did everything except for ask for an ID, which is not common, right? We don't ask for a copy of people's ID when we list. We probably should now that all this is going on. But anyways, their email matched up with what was on, on record. Their name matched up. They knew about the husband that was also on the county assessor website, and I went and I spent like $550 on drone photos, beautiful photos of the property, whatever. I list this property. 2 days later, I get a call from somebody saying this is, so the wife's name was Jill Base, and then the husband's name, I can't remember his name, but he called me and he said, hey, this is the husband of, Jill, and you have my property listed and I want to increase the price to $1 million. And I go, oh, hi, nice to meet you. We need to talk about that because the property was not worth $1 million. By the way, the owner on record at the county assessor said they lived in Alaska. The phone number that I was talking to on all of these people, the scammer called from an Alaskan number. So it all matched up. And then as I was talking to this guy who wanted to who raised the price to $1 million, I hear Jill in the background. I go, is that Jill? That doesn't sound like her. He goes, that's Jill. He goes, I'm just kidding. I don't know why the fuck you have my property listed, but I want you to take it down right now. And I'm like, what? So turns out this person who contacted me about selling the land was not the owner of the land. And I now have a property that's listed illegally. So it's happened to me. It can happen to anybody. There's not a lot of due diligence that you can do, but other than meet people face-to-face, Zoom, whatever you need to do to get that face-to-face conversation. And that I did that about 1.5 years ago. So that was a very fascinating thing. And then here's the hiccup with that. In order to be compliant with the MLS, I actually need signed paperwork to take it down. Otherwise I could get fined. This is a unique situation. So I was like, here, I talked to Randy about it. I was like, here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to send you a cancellation. He goes, and then he got mad at me. He was like, I'm not fucking signing anything. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't sign anything if I were you either. So I'm just going to take it down and risk the fine. No problem. So what I did was I said, hey, I'm going to give you all of the photos that I got taken, the nice drone photographs, the nice drone videos. I'm going to give them to you for free with my sincerest apologies. So turns out, and then whatever, we made up. He wasn't mad at me anymore completely. We went over what happened. I was like, if there's anything I can do in the future or anything I can do for you in real estate, just let me know. About 7 months later, I get a call from another agent and he's like, hey, I'm about to list this property in Boulder. I noticed that you had it listed prior and I wanted to, ask you kind of what happened, why it didn't sell, why you took it down so quick, and what was happening with these sellers. I go, well, you probably aren't talking to the sellers. You're probably talking to a scammer. It turns out the scammers reached out about that same property to another agent. So what did I do to build that relationship with those people and hopefully not get a bad review on Google? I called the actual owner and I said, hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me again, but just to let you know, the scammers are at it again. I got a call from another agent saying that your land is trying to be listed with another agent. So what's unique about this land is they had two parcels next to each other. Their house was on one parcel and their driveway kind of went zigzag onto the land parcel that I was supposed to sell. So they're obviously not going to part out that second parcel of land that they have an easement on for that driveway in order to sell it. It just makes no sense. So I called them. I was like, hey, it's happening again. They were very grateful, had a way better tone, and now they know to look out for that. So that is something that scammers are doing these days, you guys. So definitely want to watch out for that. So yeah, so that's all I have for today. This is recorded. You can go over all of it. I will upload it to YouTube and then post it in the chat. Do you guys have any other questions, stories, comments, concerns about this week in the future or what's happened in the past week? Before I go, give me 20 seconds. Unmute yourselves.
Hi, Lauren. It's Ashley.
Hi.
Quick question for you, and I guess for the group overall. I know in our chat you mentioned like going forward you wanted to set up some kind of group open houses.
Yes, that is.
And I was wondering.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I was wondering, is there any like updates on that, or like will you be?
Yeah, so I am trying to set that up now. I will be I'm trying to figure out where, because I also time block my schedule. So I'm trying to figure out where I can move some things around. For the next couple of weeks, I have things that I can't move around. So it's likely going to start happening at the end of this month. And I will be doing them on Fridays. So stay
Okay,
tuned for
sounds
that.
good. Yeah, I just wanted to get the update on that, and I'll be reaching out, like you said, privately about all of that too. So, okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that, you guys. All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns? Speak now or hold your peace until you private message me. All right, guys, I hope you have an awesome day. Randy has a class at noon. I will be in the office probably about 1:30. I will be doing presentations for the program. I have 9 agents coming into the office today from other offices. If you guys want to have a steady stream of income on the back end, you can call other agents and try to recruit them. It's something I time block into my schedule. I did it in the very beginning when I started real estate at Winning Realty. And right now I have a steady stream of income anywhere between 800 and 1,500 a month just from other agents coming in. I think I've made like 4,700 this year just from bringing people into the office and then doing sales. So definitely another thing to put in your pillars if it's something that interests you. You could maybe spend like 2 hours a week calling other agents to tell them how amazing Winning Realty is, because it really is. Every system we have for you is rare. So definitely want to see you guys doing that too, if you can. All right, other than that, have an awesome day. Bye.